Welcome to the Oasis. My name's Mike, and today I'm taking a virtual trip down memory lane with Pixel Rift 1995 on the Oculus Quest. Now, this game is a direct sequel to Pixel Rift 1989, which released a couple of years ago and became well known for its retro game-within-a-game level design. Now, this sequel offers more of that formula, but now takes place in 1995, which a lot of people regard to be the golden era of gaming with 16-bit and 32-bit consoles. Now, if you're interested in reliving some of those classic gaming memories from your childhood yourself, the game is available on the 23rd of April for Oculus Quest and PSVR headsets. The PSVR release will be coming a little bit later on down the line. So in this video, I'll be showing you one of my favourite levels from the game, whilst also sharing some stories from my personal gaming past. I'll be talking more about my thoughts on the actual game itself at the end of the video, and timestamps are in the description down below as always. I hope you guys and girls are all keeping safe and you enjoy this video, so without further ado, let's dive in. Okay, welcome to Pixel Rift 1995. And as you can see, I'm in a bedroom here. It's a dark, rainy night outside. And I'm sitting here, probably what I would be doing as a kid, sitting in my bedroom, about to play some games on my retro console. And look at this room. We've got some nice Pixel Rift artwork on the wall. Little dot character there. We've got some posters on the walls here. Oh, and look, even up there we've got like a Star Fox spacecraft hanging from the ceiling. That's pretty cool. I used to have like Star Wars models hanging from the ceiling when I was a kid. Oh, we've got Pixel Rift, the Gear Kid version here, which you'll recognize from the original game. And we've even got a Gear Kid tucked away down there on our dressing table there, which is pretty neat. So let's put the game into the console. Let's fire it up. Of course, you've got to give it a blow first. As it's a cartridge. That was the magic trick to get games started back in the day if they didn't load first time. So this is actually level 3 from Pixel Rift 1995, and it's actually one of my favourite levels from the game, so this is why I wanted to sort of show you this one. And as you can see, it's a very sort of Castlevania-esque level. So if you ever played Castlevania as a kid, this will take you right back to those classic days. And that's the thing with this game, it pays homage to so many classics that you probably played back in the day. And that's the great thing about it, this feeling of nostalgia. So this is Cedric, our little sidekick. This place brings back such good memories. If only the turkeys inside the walls could talk, they would tell you all about my grand heroic acts. But don't worry, I can tell you. Oh, maybe it's time for some reenactments. So this is where it gets interesting, because he stood on the floorboards there, made a noise.
David, it's past your bedtime. You know that means lights out. Oh, don't look at me like that. I'm just looking out for you. Your aunt read in a magazine that playing games at night will burn your retina. Do you want a burned retina, David? I don't think you do. Well, I'm going to bed now. But if I even hear one beep coming from your room, I'll come right back. Nighty-night, honey pie.
Bye. So I'm pretty sure we can all relate to that when your mum would come in and tell you it's way too late to be playing video games. But of course, as soon as she went back to sleep, TV was back on and you were back in the game. But we just got to be careful, because as soon as we step on those creaky floorboards again, she'll wake up, she'll ruin all the fun. And that was the problem. When you was a kid back then, and your mum would come in, and she would try and turn the TV off, that wasn't so bad, because you could just turn it back on again, of course. But the worst thing was, she actually turned the console off. And then you were totally screwed, because games back then were so difficult. Not only were they just difficult, but the fact that you couldn't save it unless you got to a certain point in the game, or some games just didn't have a save function at all, which meant that those hours of playing, all that progress would have been lost. And I remember numerous occasions that happening to me. Games like Jurassic Park on the Super Nintendo, if you ever played that game, never had any save spots. So you would be well and truly screwed. if your mum came in and turned the console off. It was like the worst thing they could ever do to you back in the day. Does she sound asleep? I can hear her snoring. We're not doing too bad. Oh, that was Cedric's fault, for sure. So she's woken up, she's turned the hallway light on. Time to turn the TV off.
That TV better be off. Now I'm even dreaming about David disobeying me.
And there we go. Back on again. Yes! You go to sleep, Mum. I've got more important things to do. And that was the other thing. These games were notoriously hard. But it's not like if you got stuck, you had a guide that you could look online or watch a playthrough online. You know, the internet didn't even exist back then, or if it did, it wasn't available to everyone to use. So what you'd have to resort to doing if you got stuck in a game was to either read a magazine, which had a walkthrough in it or some sort of cheats in it, or you would have to ring up a hotline number. I don't know if you guys had this in the States, but you had it in the UK. And it was actually an official Nintendo hotline. Oh God. So let's see, I'll show you what happens when she comes in and...
Are you trying to trick me, boy? Turn that television off and go to sleep.
The cardinal sin, turning off the actual console. Absolutely disgraceful behavior from your mother. But fortunately we got to a checkpoint just before, so we're all good. But yeah, so there was a Nintendo hotline, and you would ring it up, and you could ask the person on the phone what you know, the problem that you had, where you were stuck in the game. And I remember a friend of mine, he was stuck on one of the Zelda games, and he wanted to get into some, like, Jabu Jabu's palace or something. And he rang up the Nintendo hotline. He was on the phone for like half an hour, and then it cost his parents like 30 quid, which is of course like almost the price of a full game back then. And they were absolutely livid. So let me know if you ever rang a Nintendo hotline or any sort of hotline to find out how to get further in a game that you were stuck in. I remember actually writing to a developer when I was younger because I was stuck in a game, and they actually kindly wrote back and oh no, and told me what I needed to do, which was super nice of them. Actually a proper, you know, printed off guide that they must have sent out to everyone who asked, you know, what to do in their game. And this is the funny thing, she comes in and says, oh, you know, playing these games will burn your retinas. If only my mum actually knew, you know, back then that I would have 2 displays strapped to my face most of my adult life. I don't think she would have cared so much. Come on. Get that last little block. That's it. There we go. We don't want to step on those floorboards. That was very close. But let me know in the comments what were your sort of favourite memories playing video games as a kid. Did you used to play video games in the middle of the night? Because although I was a console gamer, I also had a PC, so I would play PC games, and like Command and Conquer and XCOM were like my jam back then. You know, that would be what would keep me up awake all night. Oh God, come on. Uh-oh, crap, I hit the bell.
David, everything okay? Wonderful. I'm hearing video games in my sleep.
And that's the cool thing about Pixel Rift 1995 is it's got so many references to some really awesome games that you are bound to have played in your childhood growing up. Back then, of course, they were much simpler times. We weren't dealing with the craziness that's going on in the world right now. And even if you can get a glimpse of that right now, you know, it's a nice little escape from reality for sure.
Just imagine it. Oh, I need a vacation.
You're not the only one. We've got some epic platforming sections here. Oh God. Oh God. Just run, just keep running. Get to the checkpoint. Wait, look, we found the way to Dracula's room. I'll keep you safe from that awful goblin. You wait here while I give him a piece of my mind. Yeah, you go and give him a piece of your mind, Cedric. It was a trap. My ankle, the pain. I may never walk again. Don't lose hope. You must go on without me. Cedric, you are absolutely useless. Avenge me. Here we go. Boss fight time. This is where your heart would start pumping. And it would be so hard as balls that it would take you so many attempts to beat the boss. Thankfully, years of gaming experience. It's not going to be the case this time. No more having to deal with Mum coming in and out. It's just me and the Cyblin Lord. He's going to taste my blaster. Oh god. Oh. Down to one little cube. Got to be very careful indeed. No! As long as you keep one cube, you're absolutely fine. It's when you run out of cubes completely, then you're in trouble. The problem is... Oh god. We did it! We smashed him. But of course, this isn't the end. This is just the end of the 2D game. This is where things get even more interesting, which is totally awesome. And this is where the video game comes to life in our bedroom. The Polystone. Let's turn into this funky retro 3D game that reminds me of like Star Fox or Starwing as it was called here in the UK. And this is where we've got to fight back. Proper Starwing style. This is the cool thing, we've actually got to move the little Star Fox spaceship around to dodge the incoming fire from the dragon and dish it back, which is actually really neat. If you ever played Star Fox as a kid, let me know in the comments. It's a classic game. It's called Starwing here in the UK. And the other thing we've got to do, alongside fighting this beast, is go through these rings without touching the sides, which is a lot trickier than it actually looks. This is so much fun. And this is the way I love the game. Mixes up the gameplay, particularly in this level. You know, 1 minute you're platforming in an old Castlevania style game. Next, it's like Star Fox. You're trying to fight some crazy dragon. Come on. I think we did it. We nailed him. So much power wasted on this useless dragon. I suppose I need to do everything myself. Yeah, come on. Cyblin Lord. Stupid goblin. Okay, so that's Pixel Ripped 1995 on the Oculus Quest. And the gameplay that I showed in this video is just one of the levels from the game. All of them pay tribute to classic titles from the past, with nods to games like The Legend of Zelda, Alien 3, Mortal Kombat, Road Rash, Streets of Rage, and much, much more. The game provides 6 chapters in total, which will roughly take you around 3 hours to complete. Now, Pixel Ripped 1995 does a great job of giving you that healthy dose of nostalgia, taking you right back to having arguments with your friends over which console was the best, Nintendo or Sega. There were much simpler times back then, and it's quite frankly nice to revisit that. And although this new title from Anna and the team at Avaray is fun, it does miss some of the charm of the original game, as you've seen this format before, and it doesn't use the game within a game mechanic in as many fun ways as the original game did. Now, holding the Gear Kid handheld little Game Boy in the original game felt much more interactive and fun than just playing in front of a TV with a controller in this game. But then again, that does go part and parcel with the era that they've gone for, being 1995, where gaming had moved on to consoles. Now, at times, the game also felt a little bit tedious, where they've tried to stick with the original game design that they're paying homage to, but in doing so sacrifice some of the fun which they could have injected themselves to spice things up a bit. So in summary, it's not a perfect game, but it is fun and I would recommend playing through it on a lazy Sunday afternoon to take you right back to that time as a kid when life was much easier and all you had to care about was gaming and what was for dinner that evening. But let me know what you think in the comments down below. Are you excited for Pixel Ripped 1995? If so, what platform do you plan to play it on? And what are some of your favourite gaming memories as a kid growing up? I'd love to know in the comments down below. Leave a like if you liked the video, make sure you're subscribed for all my future content, stay safe, and as always, I'll see you on the next one. Cheers.